What's up, bud? It's Rob. This is Apparel Success. And in this video here, I'm going to show you how to take your clothing brand to over $20,000 a month in sales in just 30 days. It's been a long time since I've had a month for my clothing brand do under $20,000 in sales, and I want to show you some quick proof of that. In August 2022, I did $24,929 in sales. In September, I did $28,269 in sales. And in October that just passed, I did $24,873 in sales. I have 5 very important steps that I'm going to show you in this video that you just probably won't find anywhere else, and I hope you enjoy. Apparel Success is sponsored by my buds over at Design Crowd, and if you struggle with designs, I really recommend that you try them out. You post your project on Design Crowd, designers from all around the world are going to compete for your project. You choose the winner, then you get that design plus revisions. I've literally sold thousands of these designs on my website, and I got them all made through Design Crowd. If you're interested, head over to designcrowd.com/apparel to learn about the special offer that I have for you, or just use the discount code APPAREL when you post a project on Design Crowd. Okay, so let's take your clothing brand to over $20,000 a month in sales in just 30 days. And the way that I'm going to explain this to you is I'm going to break this down as if I was trying to do this for my own clothing brand. So this is everything that I would do if I was trying to get my own clothing brand up to $20,000 a month in sales. And I want to start this off by sharing a quote from Abraham Lincoln. He says, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree," and he would spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. And what he's saying there is that the most important part of getting the job done, of getting the result done, when it comes to how you allocate your time, is by actually making sure that the foundation is structured and set up well enough so that it just becomes easy to get the job done. So step 1 to taking your brand over 20 grand in sales a month would literally all happen on paper. I wouldn't even start designing anything yet. I wouldn't start working on anything. And all that I would be focused on from the very beginning is creating a brand concept that satisfies a strong market demand. Okay? Having a really good product market fit for your brand concept. And the way that this takes place, the way that you go about doing this is all through research, through gathering intelligence, through spending your time looking at the market and figuring out exactly what your value proposition is for your brand. And I've explained this in a million other videos, but it's so worth repeating that there's really only 4 reasons why people buy clothing. They buy clothing because of the emotion that your brand is giving them and they resonate with. The second reason would be because of the aesthetic of the design, how the design actually looks, how the product actually looks. The third reason would be because of status. It elevates their status. And the fourth reason would be because your product has some sort of utility value. And your brand, once again, doesn't have to have all 4 of these things in it. It just has to be hitting on one of them really strongly. And so you want to know exactly what the value proposition of your brand is. What exactly are you giving to your audience? Getting clear on that is going to be absolutely huge. I would sculpt my brand in a way that has a very narrow focus, that's going after something very particular with a single vertical. You don't have to have a million different products and you don't have to be selling to everyone. I would be focused on one audience, one customer, creating the perfect product for that customer, because if you knock that out of the park, that's really all that you need to do. Having all of these different products scattered all over the place is really going to hinder your ability to sell at the beginning. I'd honestly spend a solid few days working on this and this alone. If you skip this step, then everything else that you're doing on top of it is just not going to land. It's not going to hit with your audience, and you're just not going to get the results that you want. So it's really important. Then step 2, once I have a really good feeling about my brand concept and I know I've created it for a particular market and I have a product that's going to perfectly mesh with that market, I would focus on the website and creating a beautiful website with a solid website aesthetic. Okay, and what I do here is I would really focus on making it simple. I think simple is best. And I would make sure there's absolutely 0 errors on my website. Everything is spelt right. Everything is looking the way that I want it to, and it's working the way that I want it to. I want to absolutely make sure that the user experience is super nice and that checking out, adding to cart, all of that is working super smoothly. It's basically a game of defense on your website more than it is offense. It's when clothing brands have text on their website that is really hard to read because the color behind it is all off, and it just absolutely sinks your credibility for your brand. It just makes your brand seem so amateur, and it 10x's people's just distaste for your brand, and it makes it so much harder to make sales. So those little details are so important. As a final note here on your website, it's really hard to make a really nice website without using inspiration. I really recommend looking at other websites that you know are doing well, that you know have sales coming in, and modeling your website structure off of theirs so that you're not just going freely designing this new creative style of a website that nobody knows how to operate and nobody knows how it functions. So that's another quick recommendation. Step number 3 to taking my brand over $20,000 a month in sales is I would focus a period of time purely on applying credibility to my brand and just focusing on my brand from this perspective of, is it credible? Is it trustworthy or not? And the way that I would do this is I would start by applying social proof, and I would use my own social network to do this. I would look to my friends, I'd get a whole group of my friends out, and I would take pictures of them wearing the clothing. I would take pictures of them in different settings, as high quality as I possibly can, and then I'd put them on my website. I'd put them on my social media, and I'd stage my brand in a way that makes my brand appear like it's already crushing it, like it's already thriving, like it has customers, like it's really already a significant brand. And I know it would be really nice to have celebrities and influencers wearing your brand because that adds another level of social proof. But honestly, there are brands that just because the PMF, the product market fit, is so good and they've got, great pictures of people wearing their clothing, that's really all that people needed to trust their brand and to buy from their brand. And so what this would all come down to is just ensuring that everything emanating from my brand is of the highest possible quality. My website just looks like a really legit brand. My social media on TikTok, on Instagram, looks like a really legit brand in the best way that I possibly can. And this is really going to help relax people when they come to your website, trust your brand a whole lot easier, and make that purchase just with so much more ease. So those first 3 steps would all take place within the first 14 days. And it would literally be like sharpening the axe to cut down the tree. You're basically getting the foundation of your brand staged in a way where once you start implementing, once you start executing these in terms of marketing strategies and getting your brand out there, sales come with so much more ease. It's just like slicing through a tree with that really sharp axe. And that's basically what I would do. Step number 4 would take place after day 14, and I would just be focused purely on content creation. This would be my marketing strategy, and it is my marketing strategy for getting my brand in front of my market, getting my brand out there into the world so that my market actually knows that my brand exists. I would come up with a content marketing strategy, and the way that I would do this is I would create a note in my phone where I would write ideas to make videos for TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. And what I would try and focus on is coming up with content that I can create efficiently, really quickly, that's also of high quality for my audience, that's also gonna resonate and get the job done with my audience. So I'd wanna create content that I can pump out a lot of videos really easily that's also really high quality and is resonating with my audience. If you look at my content marketing strategy for K-Bud, all of it is super intentional. It might look really lax. It might look like, oh, this is just super casual and he's just doing these for fun, but it's all really intentional. I do it like this where I'm just sitting on a balcony with text above my head and just chilling there because I know I can pump out 3 to 5 of these a day fairly easily, and giving tremendous value and resonating with my audience is still really strong. So it's like I've combined being able to create content really quickly with also having really high quality content that's really resonating with my audience and that has a chance to get out in front of my market. So I'd post between 3 to 5 times a day, if not more, on TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts with my own unique content marketing strategy that is unique to my brand concept, because obviously what I'm doing might be different from what you're doing. If your brand is all about designs related to depression, maybe you could create content where you're being vulnerable and you're sharing your own story going through that, and you relate it to the designs and the clothing that you have for your brand. All of that, to me, seems intuitive that people would be interested in that. And if you did it in a way that was truly connecting with people who have depression, people who are truly struggling, and you've built a brand for them to overcome their struggles and to get out of that situation, and that was the content that you were creating, I could see that working really well. And obviously there's millions of different brand ideas out there, but you don't have to copy what other people are doing. You can look to, your market and think, how can I create content for those particular people that's really going to resonate? And just as a really important final note here for step 4, if you can create clever content that's actually about your brand rather than it just being generic around your brand concept, I think that's ideal. So if people know from the content that you're sharing that you have a clothing brand, that's going to be better in getting your brand up to $20,000 worth of sales than if you were just to create content that's just generic around your brand concept, but where they have no idea that you're actually a clothing brand and that you actually have something to sell them. Step 5 that I'm going to share with you here is optional, because I know for a fact that if you truly implemented and executed steps 1 through 4, just like I laid out for you, and you put in full effort to do it, that you could easily make that happen for you and get your brand to over $20,000 a month. I've had single posts on TikTok and on Instagram Reels sell out of multiple hoodies for me, like $10,000 worth of sales from one post. Okay, so if you can do that, I'm nothing special here when it comes to this. It's literally just making that product market fit right, staging everything appropriately, posting content consistently enough so that one of them will just sort of take off and get you in front of your audience. And if it gets in front of your audience and everything was set up right, people will buy from your brand. They're going to want to support. It doesn't need to be all of that hard. But step 5 to really have everything working for you would be to set up retargeting ads on TikTok ads and on Facebook and Instagram ads. I would set up some simple retargeting conversion ads that are retargeting all of the engagement that you're getting on your organic posts. So as you're making these posts 3 to 5 times a day on TikTok and on Instagram, I would create ads that are retargeting these people with more conversion-centric creatives that are actually focused on selling your products. Because if your organic content is aligned with your market and it's really getting out there, then when you retarget these people with ads, it's going to make it so much easier for you to get those sales rolling in. Being in front of them constantly from the retargeting ads and from the organic is just an amazing combination. For some of you watching this, this may seem crazy, like $20,000 a month is so much. But I promise you, when I made my first $2,000 in a month, I was like, oh my God, this is insane. Like, I didn't even know that it was possible. I thought it was so much money back then to make $2,000 in a month. And then when I made my first $10,000 a month, it was the same thing. And, now I've had up to $70,000 months for my brand, and it's just an evolution. And it's really not all that crazy to think that you can do this if you focus on this and you really put in the effort. It's something that so few people actually do, to stick to something consistently, to really think about their audience, to really think about the value proposition and create a brand for a particular group of people. And I know that it's possible for you. It's just, are you going to do it? Are you actually going to put this in place? And so I challenge you to do that right now. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button and drop a comment for me. It would mean the world to me. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. My clothing brand marketing program is 50% off until the end of the year, and this is the last sale that I'm ever going to have. I break down real conversations I've had with celebrities and influencers to land endorsements for my own brand. I show you how to grow a real following on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube from scratch. And I show you how to set up, structure, and scale up Facebook ads and TikTok ads for your clothing brand. If you're interested, you can learn more about what's inside at clothingbrandmarketing.com, and I hope to see you inside.